On November 21st, 1986, Linda Mann was found dead, raped, and murdered on the side of the road by none other than Colin Pitchfork. Colin Pitchfork is infamous in the forensics community for being the first person to ever be convicted of a crime using DNA. His semen sample was used as identification and later proved him guilty for the murdering of Linda Mann. In the past, DNA has become a vital way to solve crimes. DNA can be used to identify criminals quickly due to the incredible accuracy, and can clear the names of criminals who have been convicted unjustly. Today, DNA can be used to identify a person with 100% certainty. We can use DNA to solve crimes with more efficiency and accuracy and lower the cost of how we solve crimes. This raises the question, should we reopen unsolved crimes in cases that could possibly be solved using DNA? Reopening cases could bring closure to the families that are uncertain of what has happened to their loved ones. Explained by the National Institute of Justice, DNA evidence has the power to determine truth 10, 15, even 20 years after an offense is committed. It is evident that DNA will continue to stand the test of time. The forensics community now has the ability to expand their knowledge with the use of DNA. It is evident that DNA will continue to exceed the forensics community's expectations. According to the Deakin University, next-generation sequencing will probably be the next advance in DNA analysis. This could look at larger parts of the genome and look for single nucleotide differences in the DNA, and it's much more discerning, says Dr. Dirtle. You can also garner information about physical attributes of the donor, such as hair and eye color, and ethnicity. It is clear that DNA is now the future of how we solve crimes. Today, I will discuss the advantages of using DNA for solving crimes, the disadvantages of using DNA, and the impact it has on lowering our crime rates. Using DNA to solve crimes is the lifeblood of the criminal justice system. We're able to solve crimes from up to 20 years ago. According to the National Institute of Justice, the saliva of a stamp on a stalker's threatening letter, the perspiration on a rapist's mask, or the skin cells shed on the ligature of a strangled child may hold the key to solving a crime. When properly stored and documented, DNA samples from decades after its collection can still be used. Unfortunately, due to the statute of limitations, we're unable to reopen these cases due to the time limits that are posed on them. For example, a witness can lose memory or recall events differently, but DNA stands the test of time. If we were able to reopen these cases, we would have the capability to send sex offenders, burglars, and murderers back to prison. According to the Bureau of Justice statistics, 38.6% of the 9,691 released sex offenders were returned to prison with the power of DNA. Now that I have discussed the longevity of DNA and the statute of limitations, I will now discuss the disadvantages of using DNA to solve crimes. Unfortunately, DNA can be contaminated and derail a crime from being solved if it's touched and tampered with. Tampering with evidence from a crime scene can be a major setback due to its usual reliability. According to The Atlantic, a man named Sutton was accused wrongfully of a rape crime. The report delivered to police and prosecutors didn't implicate that Sutton, but concluded that Sutton's DNA was consistent with the mixture from the vaginal swab. When his semen sample was compared to the semen that was swabbed, he was convicted of the crime and sent to prison for 25 years. DNA itself is not considered foolproof. The use of taking someone's DNA has also caused concern for privacy in general. Taking DNA from a person can be considered invasive, and when put in the wrong hands, a bit dangerous. According to the National Institute of Justice, about 20 people and federal states of the government have passed a legislation that requires DNA collection upon request. Taking DNA from people without consent is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment states, prohibits searches and seizures executed without a warrant or probable cause. This protects an arrestee's DNA. Someone is able to refute an official if they are asked for something as personal as their DNA. Now that I have discussed the setbacks and disadvantages of using DNA, I will now discuss how DNA can be cost-efficient and lower crime and crime rate heavy cities. The use of DNA has significantly lowered the crime rate in many huge cities. According to the Prosecutor Journal of the National District Attorneys Association, over the 2 years of the project, an estimated $36.8 million in property loss was avoided and $5 million in police costs were saved. Utilizing DNA has given cities the opportunity to recover faster and dismiss those who continue to commit crimes. Not only has it strengthened communities, it has significantly lowered the cost that it normally takes to catch burglars. According to the Prosecutor Journal of the National District Attorneys Association, in the 2 years of the project, the number of burglaries was reduced by 26%. DNA can increase accuracy and proof for a case made with guarantee that they've caught and captured the right person. Using DNA to solve crimes has its advantages and its disadvantages, but ultimately, using DNA to solve crimes has forever changed the game. DNA has the power to deliver incredible accuracy and cheaply and effectively solve a crime. It poses many future questions and how the use of DNA may revolutionize the way we solve crimes. For now, the use of DNA to solve crimes is just the beginning. Looking back on how the forensics community used to solve our crimes, we've completely revolutionized the way in which we solve our crimes.
Hi, my name is Alex Mose, and I will be critiquing Amanda's DNA informative speech today. I just finished watching it, and from what I've seen, Amanda's performance, it seems as if it was good. I enjoyed it. I believe that she showed that dedication to the topic because she showed that she knew a lot about what she was talking about, because she threw a lot of facts at me that I was not aware of, such as that it could come down to DNA, could be coming down to the perspiration of a rapist's mask. I was amazed by that. I did not know we could read that, or maybe I didn't really see the point of view when she was talking about, or I have never seen this point of view before, when she was talking about reopening cases for families that have lost a loved one and have had closure because they have not had enough evidence to solve the case. And I think some DNA evidence could maybe solve some of those cases, so I think that is important, and I never really saw that side, so I believe DNA being used to maybe reopen cases if the evidence is substantial. I think that would be a good change on